If you think they don't, then you just got a goofball. Everybody sees through that. Just be yourself, be authentic. You're gonna get way more deals being authentic.
Hey guys, today I got my good buddy from Minnesota, James Kolde, and he's going to share with us how he went from being a full active firefighter in Minnesota to a full-time real estate investor, crushing the game not only by himself, but with his entire family. James, how you doing today, buddy?
Thanks for having me, Rick. It's doing awesome. Thanks for making this happen.
Yeah, I appreciate you taking the time, especially so close to a holiday. I know how busy you guys are up there in Minnesota. What's new in your life?
Just plugging away. We're in the planning for 2025. Well, we all know everything kind of changed, right? And so we all know in this business, my team laughs at me, but one of the biggest things that I always say is you have to know how to pivot in this business. Your plan that you set up in November the year before is not the same plan, I guarantee, when you hit June the next year. You have to know how to pivot. If you don't know how to pivot, you don't need to be in this business. You're gonna mess yourself up. Let's put it that way.
So you're saying real estate changes every once in a while, huh?
Right? If it only stayed the same. Again, we try to put systems together, but it's super hard. You can't do that in this market because it's always changing. And it comes back from friends, right? We're the generation of friends. And you got Ross and Rachel trying to put a couch up the stairs, and he's over there yelling. That's like the word. My whole team knows at any given time you have to pivot and move a different direction. And if you don't know how to do that, you don't need to be in this business. You really don't.
100%. So I hear you talking about your team and all that. Let's backpedal just 1 second. I know you're a firefighter in Minnesota. How did all this start? Like where did it start at?
I finally made it back home. I was a contract firefighter. So when I say contract firefighter, I was in Iraq. I was in Afghanistan. I was Wake Island. I was not military, Rick. I was not military. Everyone's like, you military? Which branch? I'm like, no, I was that moron who raised his hand and said, I'll go. I say moron, but I made good money. I had to do what I have to do for my family. We were talking a little bit before all this. Not that necessarily grew up poor, but I remember living on Section 8 with my mom. I told myself that I was never going to do that, and I was always gonna push forward to do whatever I have to do for my family. Well, the opportunity came up for me to make some money, and I had another business. When the economy busted, I said, hey, I was just a volunteer firefighter. And I went, all right, I'm going overseas. And that's kind of started my whole professional career as a firefighter. Speed it up now. I'm finally back home. I'm done doing the Iraq, Afghanistan bit. And I met this, who's now my business partner now. I met him next door. We play boot hockey. Now, if people don't know what boot hockey is, we're in Minnesota, so we're the state of hockey. Boot hockey is when your parents, when you were younger, dropped you off at the rink and you realized there was crappy ice. There's no way you can put your skates on. We didn't have cell phones. We didn't have everything. We can call our mom to come back and pick us up, right? We made the most of it. We're like, well, we're still playing. We're just going to play in our boots. And so now we still run up and down the ice, and it's not the best ice, but you're still doing that and you play boot hockey. My neighbor is a big hockey guy. And he started this boot hockey in his backyard. And so Jaden happened to live next door. And so I met Jaden by my another buddy that brought us all together where we played boot hockey. Sundays and Wednesday nights, we'd take over there and put our little 6-pack of beer in the snowbank and act like we were 12 years old for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then go back home and going, oh man, I'm sore, like guys do. And then we did it all again, I knew this guy. Jaden, I knew him, I knew he was flipping some houses. He bought a couple houses. I'm like, hey, you ever need help flipping those houses? Because I work 10 days a month, right? When you're a firefighter, you work 10 days a month because you're working 24-hour shifts and all that other stuff. So there's still, another 20, 21 days left in the month to do something. I go, I gotta keep busy. My family, I'm getting off shift at 6 o'clock. I'm at home by 7. I gotta do something. Went up to my friend and said, well, why don't you let me help you out? I say, all right, fine. I'll let you help me out. He's like, you're the best contractor I've ever had. How the hell can we work together? So we honestly, Rick, we went down to the bar and we wrote on a napkin a business plan. And I wish we had that business plan, 8-9 years later, right? Nice. We said we were going to do 30 houses. Okay. We were going to do 30 houses in a year. We did it roughly in about 3 months to 6 months.
Nice.
Right? I mean, we're like, oh, we have a business here. What the heck? I literally gave up everything. I'm diving 100% straight in. And that's what I did. I literally quit my fire gig and we dove straight in and we started building the business. Our first hire was my wife.
Nice.
And it was so funny because Jaden kept going, what if we have to fire her? What if we have to fire her? I go, Jaden, we have to fire her. She's not a good fit. She's not a good fit. And I know, I get it, right? I mean, how hard would that be? But again, it still has to be a good fit. I knew that Jen was the person that was going to run our office and she was going to do a hell of a job. right? Have we ever been in real estate? No. I remember calling up her dad and telling her, oh yeah, by the way, I'm quitting. James is quitting. We're going to go all into real estate. He's like, what? I'm like, yep, this is what we're doing. We burned the boats. And honestly, Rick, I looked at as I was a guy who always has a plan, a backup plan to a backup plan to another backup plan. Honestly, I'm trying to tell everybody now, quit with the damn backup plan. Because what that does, that's almost just as good as your first plan, but it gives you the option to move over to the backup plan and abandon the first plan. Well, if you burn the boats, there is no backup plan. And that is why we became successful, is because we burned the boats. We could not go back. So I started realizing my daughter has those same traits. And I finally told her, I was like, you got to, remember I always told you to have a backup plan to a backup plan? Not anymore. You need to put everything forward and dive in. And that's what she did. She's now finally with us.
Nice.
So now she's 23. She swore up and down, Rick, she was never going to get into the business.
Right.
You know, but again, she didn't understand. She was 14, 15 years old, you know, she's like, whatever dad's doing. And now, oh man, I love being able to go to work. I call her, talk to her. She gets it. In fact, we're just moving the office. We're an hour away from where our office is right now. And we just bought an old movie theater and we're turning that into our office. My daughter and her husband are moving up closer to us too. It truly is a family. Jaden is still in the business too. He's down in Florida. I call him the wizard behind the curtain. He's a smart dude. He's also one of my bestest friends. I talk to a lot of people. I'm friends with a lot of people. I don't really have like really deep friendship. He's that guy who I trust 100% with everything that I do. He really never had that either. He's got a twin brother, for crying out loud, you know? And it's very cool dynamics that we have. We've kept it up ever since. He comes up once a month maybe. In the wintertime, he doesn't like coming up here anymore. Yeah, we're always seeing each other. We talk to each other every day. We're always talking about the business and moving forward. As far as the full dynamics is, we have about 15 to 18 people. And I say that, Rick, because I don't know sometimes. I can't get into that dealing with everybody else. I know what I do in the business. A lot of VAs. Honestly, we don't have a lot of VAs. We probably only have 3.
Okay.
3 VAs. We have 4 acquisitions people. We have a business development person. That's a pretty good, that could be its whole topic right there, where he literally is a campaign. We pay him and he drums up business with going around to other realtors. He's the one that does all the foreclosure stuff, puts those lovely pictures of me and my dog on the foreclosures, and we get people to call us all the time. And I'd love to say it's because of my face. It's not. It's because of the dog. We all know the right.
So he's more of a canvasser going out and just helping drum up business, whatever
he can do.
Him out there. Okay.
Yep. So he's stopping at other brokerages and, hey, you got a hoarder home? You know, hey, we buy houses. This is what we can do. We can get your seller out of their jam. I like to say with our company, it's called Minnesota HomeGuys. We are a full solution real estate company. You come to me with an issue, problem, we're going to solve that. We're not just going to do cash. We do wholesaling. We do contract for deed. We figure a solution to your problem. And that's why I always try to tell people, and we'll even list it too. We're all licensed agents. I'm a huge fan of making sure that everybody's licensed in the business. I kind of jumped around a little bit there, but for the most part, yeah, I don't know where we want to start back up again, but we started this about 8-9 years ago.
Did you, when you first started, what was your niche? I mean, everybody has a niche. They started, ours was rehabbing. When we got started, what was yours?
Rehabbing, because we had no idea wholesaling was even a thing.
Yeah, me too. So you guys came out of the gate with the construction aspect. Talk about a little bit about how that kind of transitioned, because 30 houses in a year, when you're first getting started, 30 houses in a year is a lot anyways, in my opinion. I mean, 2 rehabs a month for anybody is a good amount. How did you transition from just being rehabbers into the other exit strategies?
Well, we started going to mastermind groups. I remember going to a mastermind group and we're on the hot seat, right? Somebody asked me like, so what are your KPIs? Good thing Jaden is smarter than I am. And I had no idea what KPIs were. Again, I faked it till I made it. Let's put it that way. But sometimes you have to do that, right? It's the drive. I have a drive. I'm like, I'm going to make something work. I'm going to make people feel comfortable. I went to my first sales call with Jaden without realizing I was going to a sales call. He literally dragged me to a sales call, right? And he's like, oh yeah, I'm going to stop at this person's house. I'm going to start talking to him because they responded to one of my mailings. I remember going in with him, reading what he's doing. He's got engineer, right? He's looking down in his notebook and he's writing stuff down, looking up. I'm over there talking to the client. Oh, hey, you went to Burnsville's high school? I did did too. No kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, I bet you knew this person. I bet you didn't know this person, blah, blah, blah. We're talking back and forth. And I had no idea what we were really doing. I didn't realize we were on a sales call. We get back into the car, and the first thing out of my mouth was, man, I am so sorry if I stepped on your toes. I just figured I needed to keep the conversation rolling here because there was a lot of lows. He looks at me and goes, that was awesome, dude. You know how to do sales. And I'm like, do I? I don't know. I didn't realize that. I just know how to connect. That's what I did. I mean, it came to a point where we got done with that. It was a different time. We went back to that house, and we ended up giving this lady like $10,000 ahead of time so she can continue her journey. I think she was moving to Florida. And we gave her the check. You could see her tearing up. And all of a sudden, I'm like, you need a hug. And I gave her a hug. We get back in the car. Jaden's like, how did you know she needed a hug? I'm like, she was crying. I figured I'd give her a hug. Dude, that was awesome. Making people feel comfortable, right? That's what it's about.
What would you say to people listening to us right now, where that's where they're starting their marketing, their phone's starting to ring, and they're uncomfortable about because they hear all the people online telling you that all the persuasion strategies and all this other crazy mess. What would you tell the people that are just now starting to get comfortable talking to sellers?
Be yourself. Do not be somebody you're not. People see through that all day long. If you think they don't, then you just got a goofball. And they don't know how to see through that. Everybody sees through that. Just be yourself, be authentic. You're gonna get way more deals being authentic. Plus, when you don't lie, it's a lot easier to, keep moving forward. You're not trying to keep track of all your lies. No, again, you can use things like my team. I have a team of investors that follow me. I get it. But don't say you're buying it if you're not buying it.
Right.
That's huge to me. Again, one of my huge things is making sure you have your real estate license. Be real. Again, these gurus used to tell you not to get your license.
Yep.
Then all of a sudden they told you to get your license. I don't even know where they're at right now. But I'm the kind of guy, Rick, is everybody tells me to go left. Guess which way I'm going?
Yeah,
right.
100%. And they say that so it's easier to sell the product, right? So we're the same way. In Toledo here, it happens to be the #1 most affordable city in the nation, right? So we've got out-of-town virtual wholesalers coming from all over the planet. And I'll tell you one thing that you helped us out with these commercials. It's excelled our business because we sit down with people and they're like, well, you're the people we saw on the commercial. And we're like, yes. And they're like, well, we want to work with you because you're local. And it doesn't matter. Half the time, the number might not be as good as what the wholesaler was offering them, but we're local, we're authentic, we're genuine people. And people love to work with people that they have a relationship with. And I think that where I was going with that, when people tell you, the standards, you were talking about licensing. When you're sitting down looking to buy somebody's house and you're a licensed individual as a realtor, you're held to a much, much, much higher standard because you'll get charges and rules and fines and all sorts of stuff, right? So it holds you to a higher standard, #1, in getting licensed. And #2, it offers you the opportunity to provide a full service. So talk about that a little bit. You guys said you list houses for clients that need it too. How does that work?
We show up at your house. We basically say, you don't need to call anybody else. We can figure this out for you because we do everything. Now, again, there's a lot of companies that just say, I'm gonna wholesale, right? I'm gonna wholesale, or I'm just gonna buy cash. What we wanted to do is we looked into how do we help people, right? One of the things that I say all the time to my team, when I'm on a podcast, wherever I'm at, do the right thing, the money will follow.
Yep.
Too many people try to go through the hustle and they're trying to, again, how many times have you ever seen a wholesale deal posted on one of your websites and then you go to a different website, it's posted for a different amount on another site with a different name? I'm like, do you seriously think that works? I mean, you guys, come on.
The old daisy chain.
Right. And it's like, I'll try to help anybody out. I will go the extra mile because I want to see people succeed. I want to see people who maybe have that drive but don't have the knowledge. Let me help you out. But I started realizing there's only so much I can help. If you don't have the drive, I can't help you out. I'm sorry if you're a Gen Z, a millennial, it's more the Gen Z. There's really dragging a lot of these kids and they think that they can do that. I don't have any doubt that they can't do it. But if you got a 19-year-old, talking the way they talk to me that I'm trying to sell my house, I'm going to say bye. I struggle with the wholesalers out there. I'll be honest with you, Rick, I have never bought a property from a wholesaler.
I think we did let me think. Last year we did one. We did a really good one. And I think we can count on one hand how many we've bought in 15 years.
Because they don't have the numbers right.
The biggest thing that we've learned, and this comes from when I was coaching with fortune builders and coaching people around the country, wholesaling is a great avenue to make money, right? The reason people aren't successful at it is because they buy into the YouTube video saying, you know, you can go out and put this under contract and make money for no money out of pocket, right? Rather than saying, hey, invest a couple bucks, learn how to analyze a deal, learn numbers. And when you learn how to analyze a deal, I would love to partner up with a wholesaler that could just feed deals. I would love that. But they don't take the time to educate themselves. They just buy into the whole get a property under contract. And then you get the person on the internet bragging about, we got 50 contracts this month. I mean, anybody can go out and put a house under contract.
Well, they say they're deals. I'm like, they're not deals. How are they deals? Just because you got a winter contract doesn't make them a deal.
I was teaching my son about that. We had people that were in our organization a little bit. We'd say they get high on leads, but they get high on prospects, right? They get the dopamine burst from somebody saying they might want to sell their house, but you don't understand. That's not taking it to the finish line. That's just the high. That's like getting a like and a share on your social media. It means absolutely nothing. So once you're able to solve the problem solved, and you get compensated for that. But just getting somebody that raises their hand that says they're interested in talking to you means absolutely nothing. And unfortunately, that's the kind of world we live in nowadays.
Right.
And I think it's an age thing. I really do. I think it's an age gap.
So let me ask you this, and I've been trying to play this around a little bit. What if you set up something in your market where you so-called train these wholesalers, where you put a certificate out of like, hey, you've been wholesale trained. Now, here's the numbers that we're looking for. Now, run out there and go get some. Because that's something that we think we want to do. Now we can help more people out that understand it because we're training them a little bit.
I'll tell you what, man, that is a great idea. And that's what we've been doing. We started it off. Somebody in one of our masterminds taught us about the local brand. And we have a local brand as far as buying houses and selling houses, but more of being the local expert rather than the above and beyond being the house buyer. So what we started with right down here in this little coffee shop, we only opened it up for 15 people because that's all the coffee shop can hold. We're getting ready to expand it now. We started off doing meetups, 2 hours. We do an hour of teaching. I'll do like, say, how to find off market deals. We'll do an hour of teaching, provide them some value, give them some tools, whatever, and then have about 30 minutes of Q&A/networking at the end. And it's been bringing more people. We just did one last week, all about the fundamentals on how to raise private money and how to work with private money lenders, what private money is, why it works. Get out of your own way in your head. And it worked out great. People loved it. I had a guy come up to me at the gym last night and say, hey man, thank you for that. Because of you, I was just able to get a private money lender for $50,000. And I'm like, that is awesome, right? So now next month, we're going to do the analyzing your deals. We're going to take a bunch of before and afters. I'm going to walk through how to analyze a deal, how to use our deal analyzer. And then rolling into next year, I think we're going to start off doing maybe an event, a small one in our office, maybe 10 people with the goal of doing exactly what you said, teaching them how to be professional deal finders. Because once they become professional deal finders, if you train 20 people, 16 of them probably won't do nothing. 2 will probably put forth the effort, and then 2 will succeed. That's kind of how the numbers work out, right? But you're exactly correct, and that works. I've witnessed people do it in other markets, and at the very least, you can provide education, and all it takes is one person to really get good at finding deals for you. That can change the game for everybody. That's a great idea. I would highly recommend it. Up where you're at, you guys have a lot bigger population than where we're at. I would do it for sure. It's only once a month.
Yeah, no, thank you. That really helps out because again, we've been pondering that around. I'm a visionary, right? Everything I do is vision, and I've play it out through my head, and all of a sudden I'm like, all right. And then I got my wife who she'll put stuff together for me, and then one of our leads, what is he? Chief Officer of Revenue is what we called him. And Paul, and that's exactly what we want to do. Is we want Paul puts stuff together, and it's the vision that I have always thought the way we were gonna run our business. Hey, I'm gonna move forward because I know a lot. I'm just not good at putting it all together at the back end. And that's where my wife comes in. That's where Paul comes in. That's where a lot of my team comes in. I started realizing there's no drama in our team anymore. We have no drama whatsoever. If you bring drama to my business, you're out. Yeah, you're 100% out. I realize that I've been in business long enough now that I can control who I bring in and out of my business. If you don't fit in our business, you don't fit, and I'm going to move on to something else. And I love our team that we have now more than anything because we're all jiving. We got the right people in the right seats.
Yep, that's awesome, man. I think you're 100% correct. I'm the one that gets in our business and screws everything up. So when you said you're the visionary, the challenge I have is not everybody has the same motor. Nor do I want them to have the same motor. I eat, sleep, breathe this stuff all day long, all night. I enjoy it, so I don't look at it as like let's quit working at 4 because I don't know. It's always the build, and it's just fun to me, right? If you're thinking about doing that in your local market, let me know. We kept it very simple and it's very easy by using meetup.com and the network you already have, and definitely implement it because you'll get results. You will 100%. I'll even send you my slide deck on what we teach. You know what I mean?
Man, I would love that. That's it would be push it even quicker because that's what I want to start doing once a quarter, once a month. We're gonna have the space. We just bought it's old movie theater in a smaller town. So if you look at the Twin Cities, we're on the north side of the Twin Cities. We want that small town feeling. They were selling the old theater. We got it at a really good price. We're turning it into offices. They're going to leave the marquee sign out front. And now we're going to have a digital marquee sign. We're going to I got another friend in Pennsylvania who does the dad joke of the day. He goes, we get so many people that drive by because there's a lot of traffic. They love seeing the dad joke of the day. I want to be part of the community. I want to be, little Jimmy wants to invite Susie to the prom, drive her by at a certain time and says, Susie, will you go to the prom with me? I mean, that's the kind of stuff that I want to be, come from, this small town that we're in. We have the space to do those meetups.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm pretty excited about doing that. And thanks for the encouragement and that's exactly what we need to do.
Let's talk a little bit about finding your deals. I know you guys are crushing it with all different avenues. What are we doing to find them? Let's think first of, I know we're both doing commercials on that, but let's target it first towards someone just getting started. What kind of marketing works for you all the way into the more high-end paid stuff?
Truthfully, we did a lot of mailings in the very beginning to see concept. If I was going to give anybody a tip, put your dog in the mailers. Hey, honestly, you could probably take that picture out. The dog has helped us get more deals than that. I swear. They literally call up and say, are they going to bring the dog too? So I definitely would do mailings with the dogs. Okay. You know what? We're not big on bandit signs up here. We have a lot of regulations that you can't put bandit signs up. Plus, then they're just going to call you, harass you. Hey, you can't do this. Hey, I'm going to fine you. So bandit signs are kind of out. A lot of it is if you're looking to run the foreclosure list, go door knocking. You want to do something different? Don't wait for a mailing to go out to a house, right? Go knock on the damn door and tell them that you're here to help. Don't pressure them. Maybe even bring them a quick little gift. Hey, I know that you're going through a lot. When you're ready to talk, let's talk. We have 6 months from when they know that they go into foreclosure. We have a 6-month redemption period.
Okay.
So a lot of places, it's like Texas doesn't, Florida doesn't. I think it's like 30 days on some of it. There's a lot of time in between. I don't know why everybody waits to the last minute, Rick. They're 2 weeks before they're getting booted out of their house. Can you help me? I'm like, I probably could have helped you a lot more if you would have called me 2 months ago, but definitely go down that alley, just knock on the darn door. And then once you start progressing, we did TV. We, right out of the gates, Rick, to be honest with you, we did the TV, or we did the mailings to prove concept, like, hey, this business is going to work. Yep. And then what we did is there's a local company that we followed and we basically mirrored our business off of them. We knew that we were the original Minnesotans. Again, I don't want to give this company any bad vibes or anything because honestly, they're a great company. It's just, we just brought a different vibe to it. Yep. And we kind of mirrored them and it's taken off. So last year we did almost 200 deals.
Nice.
This year, we're not going to do 200 deals. We're probably down to the 130 and I'm okay with that. I believe you can get too big and it doesn't make any sense. You're paying too many people. You got too many people making sure everything's happening. I would suggest keeping it small. In fact, that's what we're downsizing and we're going for bigger numbers versus these little numbers. Rick, we don't take a deal for making $6,000. And I know it sounds weird, but we have a lot of costs. And I was talking to the team moving into 2025. I told them, I go, guys, it takes just as much effort to get a $60,000 wholesale deal than it does a $6,000 deal. Let's go for the 60 and quit trying to go for these. Here's a one key word that I told them, or a phrase, we can try. I go, nope, we're not, because every time we say we can try, it means we're giving them more money on a wholesale deal. We're transparent. We tell people it's a wholesale deal. And every time we try it, we only make a little bit of money. And we're not going to try that way. We need to try that makes us money also. If, obviously that makes sense to everybody. We're really trying to go for the bigger deals than the little ones. Now, I believe you can go the littler deals if you're cold calling because you don't have, your marketing's not in it.
Right.
But when you spend almost, close to $1 million a year in advertising, you have to recoup that too, right? And so you need to go for the deeper deals.
If you're up to the million in the marketing, is that primarily TV? Is that your main expense?
Yeah, most of it's TV and then SEO.
But you guys are statewide though.
Yeah, we're the whole state. It's how it's broadcast through the TV. You can go 2 hours. I think you're in a different state, right? I don't know where you're in.
I'm down in Ohio.
Right, but I mean, you're closer to. We go, I still go 6 hours north. I'm still in Minnesota. I'm not even at the Canadian border yet.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, we're only about 5 minutes up the road, and we're in Michigan.
Yeah. So it's a little bit different. So we have to deal with Wisconsin because we butt up. There's a lot of people that are right on the edge in the Wisconsin side. So we have people that are licensed in Wisconsin too. And moving forward, we're actually starting a brokerage in 2025.
Nice.
And that's
on more of the retail stuff?
Well, no, because I believe it's going to be a lot different. I mean, we have to be different moving into 2025. So we're implementing a fix and list program. How many times have you ever been to a house? You know darn well it's not going to go for cash. You know that they need more, but they don't have the money to fix the carpet in the back bedroom. They don't have money to paint that pink bedroom that you're probably going to bring more value if it's going to be white, right? What we do is now we can say, hey, we can get you up to this price as long as you qualify. And when you qualify, they have to have at least 30% of equity in the property, right? Because we're the ones that are gonna set the price. We're gonna fix your stuff, and then we're gonna charge them a little bit more on the percentage side. So for instance, I'll just give you a quick, for instance, if we're going to sell the house for $220,000 at 3%, it's $6,600. Well, because I'm going to put $5,000 into it, they're still going to have to pay the $5,000 back, but to recoup my money, and because I'm lending it out, I now charge them 5.4%, which now I get almost $12,000 compensation at the end of the deal. So you see how I literally just doubled it by loaning $5,000 out?
Right.
And it's a game changer because who's doing that? No one does.
Idea.
And so, but you also have to limit to up to $10,000 because then you're defeating the purpose of you buying houses for cash that are beat up. And I'm not going to send my contractors over here to fix all this. So what we did is we teamed up with a very prominent remodeler, and we wanted a real company. We just didn't want to hire in handyman people. And we're pushing this all the way through. And I've done it twice. I don't go on very many sales calls, but what I do is I try to prove concept that stuff is going to work. We did something like this 3 years ago, and because of the way the market went, we didn't have to do this. Because the market is now shifting back, doing this fix and list, I was going to make $6,600. Now I'm going to make $12,000. Basically, $11,880 is what it really comes out to because I know people try to do the math. Now we're getting almost double the amount of commission. So here we just turned something into nothing into something.
How are you protecting the financial aspect when you go? So if I'm a seller, I need some things fixed up in my house. You're going to help me with that. We're going to go in no more than 10 grand. How are you protecting your financial contribution to that whole thing?
Yep. And so I got to have the lawyer draw something up, but that's where we call it qualifying, right? You have to qualify for this. A couple of the qualifications is, how many times you ever go into a house and they go, oh yeah, this will sell for $250. And you're like, wait a minute, I'm the professional, you're not. But okay, sure. You know it's not going to sell for $250.
Right.
So again, you have to qualify. I get to set the price. That's why we say you have to qualify for it. You have to hit at least 30% of equity.
Okay.
I get to, after 2 weeks, get to drop the price. So that's why you have to have all that equity in there. So I'll be honest with you, we're putting a lot of different numbers together. And after I'm done with this call, I have to start talking to Paul again as we're still putting everything together. Again, I think the biggest thing is you have to qualify. The key thing, when you say qualifying for something, it makes it like, ooh, I wonder if we do or not.
That's a good niche. I think I might talk to my son about that, because we talk to listing appointments all the time where it's that exact scenario. Put a couple bucks in it, you could sell it for a lot higher. That's a really good takeaway for people listening. You kind of create your own inventory that way.
You're being different. You're being, something. Another thing we have to look for is we should be able to throw a lien waiver on it. That's important. So we're going through all the correct stuff. Again, I try to keep throwing different scenarios out there because concept is great, but until you put it on paper, I've learned that you always throw something on paper first because there's always little loopholes, and that's what you're trying to discover is the loophole.
What were some of the early struggles when you first started? When you guys just partnered up and you started rehabbing houses, what were some early struggles you experienced?
The struggles, I guess I feel very blessed because I'm going to say something, and it's pretty awesome. I was given 40% of a business that I didn't put a dime into. But I told you the story before that. I knew sales. I knew I could get things. So the first 500 deals that we've done, I literally looked over every single one of them, okayed every single one of them, went through do, I mean, what, every 5 deals, you have to go through all the paperwork before you get a deal. I did everything. That's where my knowledge is at. I learned by doing, right? Jaden actually was able to bring capital to the business. So we always say it was about 200 to 250 at the end of the day. And he got paid back about a year and a half later. And again, he owned 60, I owned 40. I'm okay with that, Rick. I'm 100% because I remember being at the fire station when he told me, hey, I'm going to give you 40%. And I'm like, I started tearing up. I'm like, crap, where are the other guys? I don't need to be tearing. Why is this guy giving me this business? But he knew that I was a driver. He saw everything I've already done before. I proved to him that, hey, I've done 3 or 4 of your flips. Now I'm going to do our own flips. And he's like, hey, this is what we're going to do. And we ran with it. So as far as struggles, it's more of, not having the capital right away, but you don't have to start like we did.
Right.
You can still just I still think you still need a little capital, Rick. I think too many of I think you said it before, too many of the big wigs, they say, oh, do this with no capital. How many people are actually doing that? How many are really... Right. And so it's very disturbing to me. If there's any advice I try to tell everybody, go to somebody who's already doing it and tell them you'll help out. Be the freaking shadow, and you're going to learn so much more than buying from a guru. Let's say that.
Sweat equity, man. Rich dad, poor dad, right?
Rich dad, poor dad. That's one thing that I met him about 2 years ago. There's a reason why you should never meet your heroes.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Rub you the wrong way?
He rubbed everybody in the room the wrong way. He was ripping on America, and he's a Marine. And I'm like, then leave. Get out of here. I mean, he literally, ripping on Biden. Again, I get who's in office at the time and stuff. He's like,
right.
He's 74, 75. He's dying for something. I don't know. He's not in good health, and he's over there ripping on America. And I'm like, leave. Thank you for inspiring me to do the things that I'm doing, but now it's time for you to go. So
thanks for the book.
Yeah, honestly, thanks for the book. And that's I give his book out to people that are graduating, kids that are graduating, and I give them a $20 bill, and then I write a check for $100. I go, if you want this $100, you have to read this book and then come to me and talk to me, and then I'll trade that check in for a $100 bill. So now you can either get $120 or you can just take the $20 and move on. Do you realize I've only had 2 people read that book out of 7, 8? That's sad to me. That is sad. I'm literally giving you this path to success. And it just shows what the drive is to these young people. Sometimes they want everything handed to them.
Yeah, that's where it started for us too. Was that book is what started our whole real estate journey. That started the whole path for us and my family. And yeah, there's a lot of people, especially traveling around and meeting people. A lot of people have that same story. Somehow along the way they were introduced to Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and the rest is history.
Right. I mean, it really dumbed it down to me. I'm like, wait a minute, we're gonna buy low, sell high. It's really kind of a no-brainer, right?
Yeah. That makes all the sense in the world, but nobody ever taught us that in school. So before we get into wrapping this up, let's talk a little bit. You are starting to franchise model, I'll say. So you're starting to teach people your entire business model in different markets. What does that look like? That sounds awesome to me.
Okay, so the vision was, when we first started it, we're HomeGuys, right? Minnesota HomeGuys. And we came up with HomeGuys because you could put any city in front of it. Remember the craze, and I guarantee you have a shirt that has the state of Ohio on it with a star that says home. Everybody does, or they have some kind of craft thing where it says home on it with your state in it somehow. I got a tattoo of Minnesota on my calf, for crying out loud. I'm a home. Everybody's really gravitating to that. So we decided to we're going to come up with HomeGuys, but we're going to call it Minnesota HomeGuys. And then if we ever want to franchise, we can now call it Milwaukee HomeGuys. We can call it Houston HomeGuys, Dallas HomeGuys. And so that concept was always still out there. As in my journey, as it continued, it was last year about this time. I was on a podcast in the summertime. These guys saw my podcast and said, I need to talk to this guy, because he was a firefighter. And the podcast I was on was how a firefighter goes from firefighter to doing almost 200 deals a year. He never watched the podcast. He literally just contacted. I started talking to him a little bit more, and I'm like, hey, what if I could put everything in a box instead of coaching you, because coaching you is I have to tell you something, but I can't really give you anything. That's all prior to the home guys. But what if now you could buy a business in a box? Okay, keep talking. I go, instead of coaching, I can give you 100% blueprint to success, basically all in this box. Like I'm listening. So they are now the Knoxville HomeGuys. They started last February. They're kicking butt. They're taking everything that we do in Minnesota and they're doing the exact stuff in Knoxville. There's different tier plans. You'd have to contact me and we can talk more about that. Well, I'll make sure my information gets put out to you. But so it's not a franchise, it's a licensing. And the reason why we went with licensing versus a franchise is there's a lot of little tweaking that you have to pay attention to. You got to use this color, you got to do that. From my experience from traveling around doing masterminds and selling even in Florida too, it's different in Minnesota than it is in Ohio. It's different in Ohio as it is in Florida. I'll give you a quick example. When you're in Florida, if you're dealing with somebody that's from the East Coast, you got to have grit. In Minnesota, you don't have to have grit. It's Minnesota nice. You got to be passive aggressive. Well, I tried to do that when I was down in Florida to a guy that lived in New York, in Jersey or somewhere up there. And he basically kind of laughed me away. So then the next time it happened, I had grit. I basically called the guy a dumbass. He called me a dumbass. Then we shook on it and I got the deal.
There you go.
So I started realizing that every location is a little different. So if you do a franchise model, you have to do everything exactly alike. I look at it different as now, if you're doing a licensing, you know your area better than I do. Now tweak that. You're using the home guys. So they're Knoxville home guys. They do all the same commercials, exact same cartoon commercial that we do up here. It just says Knoxville home guys. And they're killing it.
Nice.
They're absolutely killing it. And this is all still organic. Well, then about 2 months ago, we have another guy that was interested out of San Antonio. He just signed up. So now we have San Antonio home guys.
Nice.
Then business in a box. It's a blueprint. It's from start to finish. You have access to everything that we do. And we, like that business development person I was telling you about before.
Yeah.
He is, they can grab that same model. We're writing all the SOPs for that position. We're writing all the SOPs for how to hire somebody. We're letting you work on your business and we're kind of the HR behind the scenes. You get a site visit to our office, like the San Antonio guys are coming in on Sunday and they're gonna spend 3 days learning everything the home guys way is basically what we call it. We do training on Wednesdays from 8 to 9 o'clock in the morning where it's only for all the licensees.
Okay.
How to do it the home guys way. Because again, you know Jerry Green?
Yep.
So a lot of it's Jerry Green. A lot of it is just tweaked a little bit.
Yeah.
Again, stuff that I know that works in Minnesota. But then I can explain to the guys why I know it works in Minnesota and it might work different down in Knoxville and in San Antonio too. So all this has been organic. We have not pushed this out the door at all. And I really like it that way because we're able to build it behind. I'm not trying to figure out what I did for Knoxville guys, what I did for San Antonio guys. It's all written out. So I know exactly what to do and what to teach them when I start talking to them. Yeah, it's super exciting. Again, we're moving forward with it. We haven't even pushed it out. So if somebody's interested, hey, we'll see how you're qualified and see if it works in your neck of the woods. I remember talking to a guy, gosh, he's actually in my phone. He's from Ohio. He was looking for it, but it wasn't in your area. I think I was in a different area. Anywho, it's a very exciting moving forward. It really is.
Good. Well, I hope that we can help you get the word out there with this. And if people can, well, we'll talk about where to connect with you at the end of this. But if you could go back right now and give yourself 2 nuggets when you're first getting started. If somebody's watching this, you're like, man, this guy's up there crushing it. If you're going to give away 2 nuggets to somebody just getting started, maybe they're middle investors. They've done a few deals, but they really haven't launched yet. What would those 2 things be?
Well, if you're running your business, one of the first things that I was always taught is make sure you have good books. You can't borrow money without good books. You can't sell anything without good books. Too many people get into this business and what they do is they hit it off the first 2 years. The 3rd year and 4th year, they're struggling now because they forgot to pay taxes. They didn't have the right books, so they didn't even understand what they needed to owe in taxes. Now Uncle Sam's knocking on their door. They're trying to figure out what the hell to do. And then the other one kind of goes along with it. if you don't know how to do something, stop and pay somebody how to do it.
Yeah.
Because there's no sense for you to jump into something. If you're not good at accounting, if you weren't good at math when you were in high school and all that, what makes you think you're going to be running the accounting in your business? Why would you want to? I'm going to throw one more in there is we do a lot of predictive index. PIs, I don't know if you're into that at all or anything.
I have not.
It tells you where you're at, where your mindset is. Like I'm a maverick, so I'm really good with people. There's a collaborator who tells you which job you're really good at. And so what we do is we run our licensees through that. And we're going to say, hey, you need to be good at everything right now for the first 6 months, but this is your strong point. This is where you need to continue to move forward with. And I'm Rick, this stuff is spot on. It's so spot on. I take my wife's predictive index and my predictive index, and it shows why we work as a marriage. I've been married for 25 years.
Nice.
It shows why. So it's the science behind the way our brain, it's a
How do people get more educated on that?
Look up predictive index. I mean, there's I can send you out a list just to see what you are, and maybe you can take the test just to see, and just as for fun. We'll connect after this again. Yeah, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. Just like it just gives you a quick little insight of who you are. So everybody in our business has taken that, and it shows where you're good at. So for instance, my daughter is exactly like me, which is so weird. And she's now doing leads. Takes all the leads in and she's running it. She has set the standards for how when phone calls come in or leads come in, getting appointments. Okay. And it's so funny, one person didn't show up one time and I said, hey, I need you to go to answer phones. And I literally handed her a notepad and said, here you go off the notepad. And there's a cheater notepad that we have by every phone that says, the address, how many bedrooms, or all of that. And I go, you know what to do. You're my kid. She's like, okay. And she went over there and started answering the phone. She's killing it. So we're now already prepping her up to go out to sales because her predictive index says she can do this job, but she can't do it long term. So she's now going to move over into sales come this spring. And she'll have to work the inside sales and then go out. She knows how to set me up because she answers the phone. And she's like, oh, it'll be my dad. My dad's the one that owns the company. You know the connection between that? When you have somebody who answers the phone that's your family members and say, hey, by the way, my dad will be the one coming out. I've gotten deals because of that.
Nice.
Because they know it's not, they look at it, it's not a big corporate business. This is average Joe guy or average James,
Family-owned business. People I that, man. I think that's so cool that you got your daughter 23 years old started with you. Is she selling your rehabs for you too?
No, she just started with us back in February. Okay. I was that dad who said, can't come work for us until you go work for somebody else. And this kid, I'm telling you, is I will give anything and everything to this kid now. She is me in a female body, and she's our only child. But I got the best of both worlds. I got the daughter who wants to go hunting, fishing, but then wants to come home and go get her nails done with her mother. She's in the guard too. So
nice.
So she knows she's got her shit together. She's already married. It's pretty awesome to see that. Again, I believe as a father, we have to prepare our daughters for the real world. I think, I did a really good job as a father. Obviously, mom did a hell of a job making sure she's a young lady, but it was my job to make sure she understands what guys are like. All I know is she can take care of herself. Let's put it that way. She can kick some ass.
Yeah, that's cool, man. You guys have a nice family-owned organization up there. I think that's cool, man. I think that speaks volumes of what you've built in such a short period of time and the culture that you guys have there, man.
Yeah.
How can people find you? Follow any of your projects? Flip a media presence? What do you guys think?
So that's a good question. We're on TikTok, HomeGuysNation.com or HomeGuys USA. I'll be honest with you, we're putting a lot of content out. What we do is Jade and I get on and do a quick, kind of what we're doing, but we'll do like a week in review. And we'll talk about real stuff that's happening in our business. People like that. And then we get somebody that chops it all up and throws it up on TikTok and whatnot. Again, we're just trying to get the word out there. Seems like, everybody, I enjoy doing this more now than I ever did. I remember I used to get super scared to be up here talking. Why? Because I don't understand why, because I can hold a crowd. I believe I can I really can hold a crowd, but I used to get scared.
Right.
I don't know what happened. All of a sudden I said, I'm going to take that energy and I'm going to turn it into positive. And then I get energized, like I get done with this call. I want to go run around the block, like.
Well, I'll tell you, I appreciate you taking the time and sharing so much of the behind the scenes of what you guys do up there. The goal with these is always just help people level up, just share real information from real people that are actually doing the business and their wealth of knowledge that you are. I thank you. And I look forward to doing this again.
I do too. I appreciate it, Rick. Hey, I don't know if you throw anything in the bottom, but it's James at HomeGuysMN.com if you want to get a hold of me, and then we can decide if we can. I'm not going to throw my number out here because I don't want everybody and their sister calling me. So
yeah, good call. And also, I can connect you with James if anybody on the that's watching this live or needs content or needs contact. Let me know, and I'll be happy to share the contact information with you as well. So thank you everybody for listening, watching, wherever you're at in this world, and we'll see you on the next one.